Afghanistan's deadly disaster this Monday night after a powerful earthquake.
The entire village was destroyed.
How survivors scrambled to safety and why international aid may not arrive quickly. The world's top scholars say Israel is committing genocide in Gaza.
There are 5 different ways that a genocide can be committed.
The evidence and Israel's response. Marking Labor Day in Canada. How the right for workers to strike is taking center stage. Plus, money and the Midway.
Try not to spend too much.
The high price of having fun at Canada's largest annual fair.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Eric Sorensen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. A powerful magnitude 6 earthquake has rocked Afghanistan, killing at least 800 people. The quake reduced entire villages to rubble. Nearby hospitals are filling up. At least 2,500 people were injured. The Taliban government has requested aid from international organizations to help with the rescue efforts. The epicenter was just 27 kilometers from the city of Jalalabad, with tremors also felt in the capital of Kabul. Vincent McAviney has more on the devastation and the challenges facing those who need help.
Just before midnight, Afghans in the east of the country were awoken by a magnitude 6 earthquake. Its shallow depth just 8 kilometers, intensifying the damage. Homes and buildings made of stone and clay were no match for the tremors. Those who escaped were forced to dig through the rubble by hand, searching for survivors. The earthquake started and shook us all violently, even breaking our house. From my own family, 5 nephews and 2 nieces were martyred, along with one of my aunts. I want the government to come and help us, to remove our injured and dead from the ground. Everything here has been destroyed. Landslides have blocked many roads in this already inaccessible mountain region. Emergency crews have had to use helicopters to evacuate dozens of victims for treatment. Hundreds are confirmed dead, thousands are thought to have been injured, and the Taliban government is warning the number of fatalities will likely rise. It's difficult to verify information from the region. This government spokesperson claims their teams have reached affected areas, but they're appealing for support from NGOs and the international community. A Toronto-based Afghan charity has already launched an assistance project.
The governments of Afghanistan, through the years and years, they couldn't even build a school in some of the areas or a clinic, and they cannot arrive or reach there. That is our challenge, our biggest challenge.
It was 4 years ago last month that the Taliban returned to power. They're under sanction and receive little international support. Coupled with severe drought, the World Food Programme says a hunger crisis had already taken hold in the country. For affected Afghans, their nation's isolation, combined with the challenging terrain, makes swift international support even more unlikely. Vincent McAviney, Global News, London.
As Israel's attacks on Gaza intensify, a top group of scholars says the country is committing genocide. The International Association of Genocide Scholars is now calling on Israel to respect international law and cease acts that it says constitute genocide. Israel rejects that assessment. Redmond Shannon has this report and a warning: some of the images are disturbing.
A city under siege, preparing for Israel's military occupation. Gaza City's residents mourn the latest victims of this war, now almost 2 years long. The world's leading scholars of genocide now say they overwhelmingly agree with some UN agencies and NGOs that what is happening in Gaza is genocide. 86% of voting members of the International Association of Genocide Scholars supported the resolution.
It's essential to have the scholarly community speak out and in a unified manner. Many scholars are unable to speak out individually, especially in the United States, because of the current administration.
The resolution cited evidence Israel is committing all 5 of the prohibited acts in the UN Genocide Convention, a treaty set up in the wake of the Holocaust. The Gaza War Assessment cites the tens of thousands killed and missing, the deprivation of food and medicines, forced displacement, and the words used by some Israeli political and military leaders regarding their plans for Gaza.
This is not a group of scholars with any sort of vendetta against Israel. In fact, many of us, including myself, have worked in Israel.
Israel's foreign ministry called the resolution an embarrassment to the legal profession and to any academic standard. The report also recognises Hamas-led war crimes committed 2 years ago, when militants killed 1,200 Israelis and captured hundreds more. On Monday, Dalit Oron buried her son Idan Shtivi, a killed Israeli hostage whose body was recovered from Gaza last month. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.
Today was the deadline set by U.S. President Trump for Russia to agree to peace talks with Ukraine or face more economic punishment. It's unclear whether Trump will follow through on those threats. In the meantime, Russian President Vladimir Putin is taking part in a summit with the leaders of China and India. It's an opportunity for Putin to validate his place among world leaders. Jackson Prosco reports.
Their glad-handing seemed designed to send a message as the leaders of China, Russia, and India gathered to discuss an alternative to the American-led global order. We work to build a more just and reasonable global governance system, said Xi Jinping. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was even willing to overlook a border dispute with China to attend, referring to Beijing as a partner. Meeting one-on-one with Russian President Vladimir Putin, Modi said cooperation with Russia would help ensure global peace, nodding to India's continued purchase of Russian oil and the tariff spat with U.S. President Donald Trump that has since followed. The elephant in the room remains Russia's war in Ukraine. In front of Xi and Modi, Putin again blamed the West for starting the conflict, saying he hopes his recent Alaska summit with Trump paves the way for peace. Moscow seems interested in anything but. The Kremlin is accused of jamming navigation systems of a plane carrying the head of the European Union as she toured countries on Russia's border.
We are, of course, aware and used to somehow to the threats and intimidations that are a regular component of Russia's hostile behavior.
Russia denied the accusations and accused Europe of hindering Trump's efforts on peace in Ukraine. But there seems to be little incentive for Moscow to reach a peace deal, with friends no longer in short supply. Jackson Prosco, Global News, Washington.
Starting today, hundreds of American-made goods that you may have been avoiding at the stores may now be cheaper. Canada has dropped its counter-tariffs on everything from orange juice to kitchen appliances. It's a major reversal from the elbows-up policy that helped Mark Carney win the last election. Mackenzie Gray reports.
It was the centerpiece of the Canadian trade war response.
Our tariffs will remain in place until the U.S. tariffs are withdrawn, and not a moment sooner.
The nearly $30 billion worth of counter-tariffs slapped on the Americans, which Canadian officials said were specifically designed to hurt key Republican areas. Orange juice from Donald Trump's Florida, appliances built in Vice President J.D. Vance's state of Ohio, and motorcycles from Pennsylvania, a swing state that broke for Trump in 2024. It was a strategy that Mark Carney campaigned on hard.
We are fighting these tariffs with counter-tariffs of our own, the American tariffs. Tariffs that will cause maximum pain in the United States, but have minimum impact here in Canada.
Canada-U.S. trade.
But nearly 6 months on, the vast majority of Canadian counter-tariffs were dropped on Monday. The Prime Minister signaling when the announcement was made that it was time for Canada to take its elbows down.
You know, when you're late in the game, dropping the gloves and taking the extra penalty might not be the best thing to do. And that's the situation we're in now.
Pre-September 1st, over 1,800 items were tariffed at 25% by the Canadian government. Food, lumber, clothing, furniture, just some of the goods impacted. Labor Day forward, only 313 goods were tariffed at 25%, exclusively steel, aluminum, and autos. Less than the 50% tariff the U.S. has on steel and aluminum.
The best deal.
This is the biggest Canadian concession made yet. After the U.S. ambassador told Global News, Canadian counter-tariffs on CUSMA goods were a significant stumbling block in getting a deal done.
Canada has decided that, that's fair game. We will, call into question CUSMA.
Mackenzie joins us now. Mac, what are the political stakes for Mark Carney in dropping the counter-tariffs?
Well, they're extremely high, Eric. We all remember Carney's elbows up slogan from the campaign, saying at every rally that Donald Trump wants to break us so he can own us. But so far, Carney's actions as prime minister haven't lined up with that. He's been very complimentary of the president in person and not only dumped these tariffs, but got rid of the digital services tax, another big American complaint. And in exchange, he got nothing. In fact, tariffs have actually increased since Carney has become prime minister. So it looks like the Liberals are trying to play the long game, maybe hoping the Supreme Court rules some of these tariffs are illegal, and then focusing everything in on the 2026 Mexico-Canada-U.S. free trade deal renegotiation. But if that doesn't work out, that could end Carney's honeymoon fairly quickly, Eric, since a recent Angus Reid poll has nearly 2/3 of Canadians wanting Ottawa to take a hard line with the president.
Mackenzie Gray in Ottawa tonight. Thank you. A huge wildfire in the Northwest Territories is now dangerously close to Fort Providence. 700 residents were forced to evacuate on Sunday to Hay River. Fire officials say the flames came within a kilometre of the hamlet this morning, forcing emergency and essential workers to evacuate as well. The fire spanned some 89,000 hectares, but officials say cooler conditions and shifting winds today could help in the firefight. A lot of the smoke from those wildfires has drifted to northern Alberta and Saskatchewan, putting large parts of both provinces and the Northwest Territories under air quality warnings. Edmonton, Saskatoon and Yellowknife all have an air quality index of 10+. That's Environment Canada's highest risk category for air quality. Students across Alberta returning to school tomorrow will face new gender policies in the classroom. Students under 16 will now need parental permission if they want to go by a new preferred name or pronoun related to their gender identity. Parents will also need to opt in for their child to receive sex education on issues like gender identity and sexual orientation. And athletes who want to play in a female-only league can now be asked to prove that they were assigned female at birth. The Alberta government says these rules will ensure parents are fully informed and engaged while keeping sports safe and fair. But trans advocates say they are exclusionary and hurtful. One of Canada's trailblazing actors has died.
Buffalo, Tatanka.
Graham Greene, who was nominated for an Academy Award for his role in Dances with Wolves, was 73. His success in Hollywood opened doors for other Indigenous actors to find jobs in the movies. Greene made hundreds of appearances in films, television, and in theater throughout his career. His contributions to the arts in this country and around the world earned him a Governor General's Performing Arts Award. Labor unrest on this Labor Day. Coming up, the workers butting heads with their employers with a spotlight on the right to strike. Plus, a Canadian tennis star who's serving up success at the U.S. Open. Union members and supporters marched together in Halifax today to mark Labor Day. It's a time to celebrate union strength and solidarity. But it's been a year with several high-profile labor disputes. Dalhousie University's faculty are on the picket lines. Air Canada's flight attendants went on strike in August. And Canada Post is still in contract talks with its union. Labor Day is also being marked in BC, where the province's General Employees Union issued a 72-hour strike notice over the weekend. As Grace Key explains, it means workers are prepared to walk off the job tomorrow morning.
We're at Edmonds Park in Burnaby, BC for a Labor Day rally held by Vancouver and District and New Westminster and District Labour Councils. This Labor Day event more significant with 34,000 public sector workers of the BC General Employees Union ready to hit the picket lines Tuesday morning if agreement isn't reached. Just the latest among other labor disputes that have been happening across Canada recently. And one of the key messages ahead of today, a free democratic society that allows unions the right to strike.
Collective bargaining is a delicate balance, and the right to strike and the threat of a strike is an important part of it. It's what encourages employers to come to the table and meaningfully bargain with their workers. And when that pressure valve is not there, it often means that bargaining drags on and no deal is reached. The threat of a strike is an important part of bargaining.
1,800 government licensed professionals with the Professional Employees Association have also given strike notice. In Burnaby, BC, Grace Key, Global News.
Ontario is making it easier for skilled workers to move to the province. The government says it has signed agreements with 10 other provinces and territories to remove barriers for workers in regulated professions. The deal affects more than 50 fields, including engineers, architects, and electricians. Starting next year, certified workers will be able to get registered in Ontario within 10 days. That's down from the current wait of several months. Ontario says the agreements are reciprocal, making it easier for Ontario workers to find jobs in other parts of the country. Preparing for a new chapter. Ahead, the program helping students with disabilities gain independence. September means thousands of Canadian teenagers are about to begin college or university and will live on their own for the first time. That brings challenges they've never had to deal with before. But this new phase of life doesn't have to be daunting. Catherine Ward reports on a unique program that helps teens with disabilities transition into adulthood.
At 18 years old, Kyle DaCosta has never spent the night away from family until now.
I'm nervous and then excited because it's a big transition for me coming out of the house.
At 3 years old, Kyle was diagnosed with advanced cerebral palsy.
Growing up, I didn't see anybody like me. I was the only disabled person in class. So my ability to write, hold things, press certain things, I require either a physical person to lift me or a Hoyer lift.
But for 3 weeks this summer, Kyle has been learning to do more on his own in preparation for when he attends college this fall.
This is all I've ever wanted since I was a little boy, you know, to be in a level playing field with everyone else, to do the things that they can do, but in my own unique way.
The Independence program is run by Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital in Toronto.
A lot of the skills that they're learning for the first time before they sort of go into real world settings. So we do a lot of calculated risk taking here.
It's going so well.
They're given opportunities to make mistakes, but in a safe and supportive way so that they can really build some confidence and be more independent in their daily lives.
Nicholas Joachimides has worked as a staff nurse for 20 years and has seen how much students grow, from learning how to make their own lunch or even navigating public transit.
You know, that last day, they're like, I don't need a nurse. I don't need somebody to do this for me. I'm going to do it myself. Or if I do have to do it myself, I'm going to tell you how it's done. You're not going to tell me how it's done. And it is just absolutely so rewarding.
Kyle looks forward to learning even more and also teaching others along the way.
I'm thinking about how my life is bigger than me, to show people that disabled people can go to college, they can graduate, they can do anything they put their mind to. It's all about perspective.
Catherine Ward, Global News.
Expensive exhibition. Next, the rising cost to enjoy Canada's largest annual fair. Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime is continuing his resurgent play at the U.S. Open. He beat Russia's Andrei Rublev in straight sets to reach his first quarterfinal at a Grand Slam since 2022. Auger-Aliassime's next opponent is Australia's Alex de Minaur, the number 8 player in the world. There are also 2 Canadians still alive in the U.S. Open women's doubles draw. Gabriela Dabrowski, who won the women's doubles title at this tournament 2 years ago, advanced to the quarterfinals alongside Canadian-born New Zealander Erin Routliffe. And Leylah Fernandez also punched her ticket to the quarterfinals tonight. She is paired with American tennis legend Venus Williams. Canadians are marking, or perhaps mourning, the unofficial end of summer today. Many people in Toronto are getting in one last hurrah at the Canadian National Exhibition, enjoying amusement park rides, games, and food. What's not so enjoyable is the cost. As Lexi Benedict tells us, a day at the CNE can get pretty expensive pretty quickly.
It's an end of summer tradition, but the question is it affordable?
I do it because I've been coming every year since I was little, but I don't think it is affordable. You just bleed money.
Money spent right out the gate. $45 for parking, $30 for admission.
Including the ticket and everything, probably
already close to $80, $90.
From grabbing food,
how much was that corn dog?
I think it was $18.
To winning prizes.
So how much did this guy cost?
It was $60 in the end.
Prizes, 40 times 2, that's 20.
And of course, hitting the rides.
There's $75 plus tax, I believe, for the all-day kids passes. So the real passes.
A day at the CNE racks up quite the bill.
I don't even want to say it. It could be close to $250, $300, and I've only been here half a day.
On the entrance ticket to the ride tickets and food, we've landed around 200.
3 of us, probably going to be $300 easy.
Overall attendance is expected to hit 1.4 million people, and officials say they have done their best to make sure it's accessible to all, from promotions to discounted passes and free attractions.
So the idea is you buy one price. If you think about the cost of going to a concert or the cost of going to a show, get for one cost all of that value, and of course the opportunity to be in a super cool place with lots of energy.
The cost of admission has gone up slightly, from $25 in 2023 to $30 in 2024 and 2025. But experts say it's not admission that will break the bank.
I think that any adult will realize that when you're taking your kid to the CNE, it's not just that we go inside and we don't do anything once we're inside. It's all of the ancillary fees.
Still, many are willing to pay the price.
Yeah, it's expensive, but just for the experience, we want to do it.
And we're here finishing off the summer, having a great time, right?
And some are getting a free ride.
How much money have you spent today?
$0.
So the consensus is a trip to the CNE isn't cheap, but for many here today, soaking in the last unofficial day of summer and making memories, that, they say, is priceless. Lexi Benedict, Global News, Toronto.
That is Global National for this Monday night. I'm Eric Sorensen. Tonight's Your Canada showcases Katepwa Beach, Saskatchewan, Hope, BC, and Petty Harbour, Maddox Cove, Newfoundland and Labrador. Keep them coming. Send your pictures of Canadian pride to globalnational@globalnews.ca. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll join us again tomorrow. Have a great night.